What's up, all my truth seekers? Now, I've been trying my best not to mess with a lot of secular stuff, stuff that is just entertainment stuff and stuff that just doesn't really deal with uh things that will edify the body of Christ. So I hope that you would understand when I bring this video to you that my intent is to deal biblically with what we're seeing, because we're seeing it in real time. This would be a very good teachable lesson. Okay, so we see this thing with T.I. and his son King and Tiny, his wife. We got to understand that this reality TV stuff is not what it looks like. It looks real. That's the whole point of it. That's why they call it reality TV, but it is not real. So apparently, yesterday at the Atlanta Falcons game, however they got to the subject, King, which is the son, is talking about, he's not from the suburbs, he's from the hood, and that's why he liked staying at his grandma's house and not with his parents. He felt like his parents were trying to shelter him, which any one of us adults, any one of us who have good common sense, that have parents who, in his case, they're affluent, they're wealthy, they live in gated communities, probably private school, and all the things that their money can afford. They were trying to shelter their child from the harsh world. But because he is an idiot and he's young and dumb and immature, he wants that harsh world because he's seen his father glorified in the music, and he sees these other rappers and other entertainers who he may look up to, who are friends with his father, glorify this lifestyle of sex, drugs, and money, and running the streets and doing all of this stuff they glorify in their music. So he's looking up to this, and this is how he wants to live his life. So on the one hand, T.I. really couldn't be mad because all his son wants to do is be who he was. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. If you didn't teach him this, if you didn't explain to him what you were doing, if you didn't discipline your child, if you didn't set these boundaries while he was growing up, you can't set them now, T.I. Now here's where we get into the biblical teaching point of it. Is they end up having some little tussle. I don't know how much of it is caught on camera or what, but they end up having some little fight or some little bust up in public at the game. And so, but when parents, when the adults, when the authority figures in the home do not set boundaries with their children end up talking to them like this.
You're upset. You're mad. You can't. I know you. Ain't no mystery about here. I know you though. What's wrong with y'all? Why y'all doing that to me? Y'all know me. You know I stand on business. Why you even letting somebody play with me like that? Why you letting somebody play with me like that? Why you letting him play with me like that? No, ain't no joking. What do you mean?
You are embarrassing yourself and the family, nigga. You embarrassing yourself. You are embarrassing yourself. You are embarrassing yourself.
Hey, what is she talking about? Get off me, nigga. Get off me, nigga.
Well, you can't do nothing with me.
This happens because there are not boundaries set in the home. There are not clear boundaries set that I am the adult, I run this house, you are the child. Now, that is not to say that you mistreat your child. That is not to say you got to beat up on your child. That is not to say, for goodness sake, please do not abuse your children. But you have to do whatever is necessary within godly standards, and the Proverbs give us plenty of godly standards of how to raise our children, how to deal with our children, how to discipline our children, how to train up our children in the way that they should go. These are in the Proverbs. Now, it doesn't mean that because you have trained them up the right way that they're always going to go the right way. again, I say this all the time, we must understand that the Proverbs are not promises, but general principles that if you do these things, generally, they will go or turn out a certain way. You can expect them to turn out for your good if you do these things generally. Now, it may not always be that way. We understand this from the Bible where David, we can all but guarantee. David loved the Lord and he raised his children to love the Lord, to honor God, to worship God. And one of David's sons, Absalom, tried to kill David and also slept with his wife and for a little while took over his kingdom and took his people from him. So all because you train your children up the right way, that is not a promise that they will not turn away. But generally, if you train up your children right, they will go the right way. They will not depart from it. So then what this is showing me, because, and this is not knowing T.I., but knowing that he has said out of his own mouth on interviews and different things that he does not care for church. I don't know how much Bible he reads, but he makes it clear that he's not going to be held to the church standards. I don't know if he claims Jesus as God or not, but from what I hear and see, it doesn't seem so. From what I've ever heard from him, I don't think he claims to be a Christian. All I know from him to say is that he believes in God. But everybody says they believe in God. What God do you believe in? If we're talking about Jesus Christ, then you got the right God. If we're not talking about Jesus Christ, then you ain't got the right God. So you don't believe in anything. But as far as what I can see, it seems like T.I. and Tiny have not raised their children with regards to the word of God. They have not trained their children up in the way that they should. They have not set strict guidelines on their children. They have not disciplined their children because King is unruly. If King was my son, if he was in my house, I'm not saying what he might not do around somebody else, but he's not going to stand in my face and cut the food. No ma'am, no ham, no burger. Absolutely not. So with that being said, it seems to me that T.I. and Tiny have not disciplined this young man, have not instructed this young man in righteousness, have not corrected his poor behavior at every turn. It seems like King is always getting into trouble, cussing people out, cussing out grown-ups. That shows that he does not have respect for authority. He has not learned this. These are things that the Bible teaches us as parents to instill in our children, that we as adults have to respect authority. So we would instill that quality or that moral character in our children to also respect authority figures. But this is why he gets in trouble all the time, because he does not respect authority. He is not being disciplined. He is not being instructed. He has not been corrected. And now we see that he has not been laid out with clear boundaries. There have not been boundaries set as child to parent. Whereas when I was a kid, when grown-ups were in a room talking, the children couldn't just sit in there and listen to the grown-ups talk. The children wouldn't walk in there and interrupt the grown-ups conversation. The kids knew when the adults was in that room talking, they would go in the other room and sit down and go play a video game or do hopscotch or whatever they're going to do. But you stay out of grown folks' business. We didn't have to get told that. Y'all go outside and play. We didn't have to get told. We knew if grown-ups were talking and the house was on fire, we had to come in there very quietly, very politely. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Excuse me. The house is on fire. We need to get out of here. But I just didn't want to interrupt y'all. So, just letting y'all know the house is on fire. Because we had that much respect for not only our parents, but authority figures, those who were older than us, our elders. We didn't just do whatever we wanted. But nowadays, children talk to their parents just like they're their friends. Children talk to their parents just like their school friends. Now, mind you, sometimes my kids come home and they're talking, oh, bruh, this and bruh, and I'm standing on business and da-da-da-da-da. And I said, look, I know y'all a whole different generation. I know y'all generation don't know nothing about respect. But I'm telling y'all what y'all not going to do. When y'all come in here, y'all talk to me. Don't raise your voice at me. Don't bring that slang home to me. Don't come talk to me like that. Because when my parents raised me, I couldn't talk to them. Now, mind you, I might have talked to my boys. I was hanging with my homeboys. And I was, what's up, dog? What's up? Da, 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 da. When I came and approached my mama's door, and I opened that door, and I crossed that threshold from the outside to the inside, even if I had my friends with me, shh, hey, y'all keep it down. We come in, hey, mom, hey, dad, how y'all doing? How's your day? Had a wonderful day, blah, 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 blah. And then me and my friends might cart off to the room where we might continue then after the door is shut and we playing our little video games or whatever we doing. Then it might be dog, ha, 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 or whatever. We did not take that mess to my mama and daddy because we had respect. We understood the difference. I could call my friend dog. I could call my friend homeboy and homie and this, that, and the third. I can't talk to my daddy that way because I wouldn't have no lips. Y'all wouldn't even know me to talk to y'all. My teeth would be all side of my mouth. I couldn't do that because I had to respect my parents. And I knew if I wanted to live long enough that I would respect my parents. But we don't teach our children boundaries. We let our children be our friends. They talk to us any kind of way. They say any kind of thing in front of us. Mind you, I want my children to be able to talk to me. I want my children to be able to approach me and speak to me. But I also want them to come respectfully and reverently like they know I'm their dad. Don't come to me talking to me like I'm your little friend. I am not your friend. I'm your father. You can talk to me about anything, but you're going to do so with respect. Just like we can talk to God. We can talk to God about anything. But we're not going to talk to God just like we talking to one of our little friends. God is not that. We need to respect him. People have lost respect for God. Therefore, they will lose respect for parents. We have lost the sense of reverence. There was a time where we used to reverence pastors. We used to reverence God's holy people. Now we treat them just like anybody else because we have no respect. We have no respect. We have lost all decency. We have lost all boundaries. It's just a free for all for everybody. We must do better than that, ladies and gentlemen. This whole thing going on with T.I. and Tiny and King, it's just showing us that one thing we ought to take from this is that rich folk got the same problem as us poor folk. Rich folk can't take care of their kids and can't get no respect out of their children. Same thing going on in our house. So guess what? Now you see some reality TV. Now you're seeing the real. That boy King don't respect his father. He don't respect his mama. He don't respect them because grandma raised him. He don't respect his parents. They let him do whatever he want. And when he didn't get his way, they shipped him off to grandma who let him get his way. So now they can't do nothing with him. And I'm sorry to say that if they don't get a handle on this boy, if they don't get something through his head, God forbid that young man gonna end up dead or in jail. And ain't nobody gonna be able to help him except for the same parents that he disrespected now. But guess whose fault it would be? It won't be his fault. Well, it'll be partially his fault. But it'll be their fault because they didn't teach him. They didn't discipline him. They didn't train him up right. They didn't set no boundaries. So then he got out and embarrassed him, disrespected him. And guess what? He gonna try that with the wrong person, thinking that his parents' money is going to keep him straight. And people gonna respect him because they might respect his dad. But somebody gonna show him, since his daddy can't control him, somebody gonna control him. And that's gonna be a hurtful day for that family if somebody has to control him. If God allows somebody else to get to him because the parents didn't do their job. So ladies and gentlemen, let this be a lesson to us all. We must train our children. We must teach our children to have respect, and we must set boundaries with our children that they know that we are not to be played with. You better discipline your children now, or your children going to get big enough they're going to get up in your face. And if they ever get big and bad enough to get up in your face and they whoop you, you have lost their respect forever. But guess what? You won't have to go through that, Lord willing. You won't have to go through that if you teach your children to honor their father and mother from little. If you don't teach them to honor you and respect you from a little child, then they're going to grow up being just like this young man. Disrespectful, rude, obnoxious, embarrassing, all of it. So I pray I've said something that would help somebody. I pray that, this message was clear. Ladies and gentlemen, if y'all got any comments, please drop your comments. Please feel free to speak and tell me what you think. Am I wrong? Am I right? Tell me what you think. I will ask you this, please, as always. Please be respectful. Any disrespectful comments will be deleted. I'm not even going to play with that. So if you're not going to be respectful, don't even come up here. Don't come up here talking stupid. But please voice your opinion respectfully, and we'll have a conversation. God bless you.